Yo everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a review and a demo of the brand new Too Faced Born This Way matte foundation. So this is the matte version of the original Born This Way foundation, and the shade that I've got mine in is Golden Beige. You guys, I have now gone into the light territory. I have gone at least 5 shades lighter than I used to be. So whatever shade I used to be in the Born This Way, which I always used to struggle with actually, there was never really a proper shade for me. I used to use the shade Sand. That is in the medium category, and I've now gone into the light category due to acid exfoliation, sunscreen, etc. My skin has slowly been getting lighter over the past, I'd say, year, and that's the reason why I have now purchased this. I bought mine in Selfridges because I actually wanted to go in store and colour match myself, and this was the closest match that I could find for myself. Just to bear in mind that this is like the exact match for my skin tone, exact. Like if I was to interfere with anything else like a powder or anything like that, it would be a little bit too light. Unfortunately, the deeper shade was too deep, and so I'm kind of stuck with this one, but I'm happy with this one anyway. So altogether there are 35 shades, and they are mixed into fair, light, medium, tan and deep. So like I said, I'm sitting within the light section now. The shade Golden Beige is described as light with golden undertones. I still retain most of my yellowness, but not so much, and now I actually tend to lean a little bit more towards neutral, but that's by the by anyway. So this retails at £29, and it is a standard 30ml, and the actual tube itself is exactly like the other Born This Way one, but this one is a lot taller in size, whereas the other one's a little bit more short and squat, and then it's got a nice easy to use pump on the top, so keeps everything hygienic and easy to use. Now, while this has been available in other parts of the world for a little while now, it only just recently released in the UK. I was really looking forward to using this. I've generally been a big fan of the previous Born This Way foundation, but like I said, the issue always for me was the colour. So now I'm happy that I've changed colour. Now I can actually go out and buy this shade in the other foundation. So let me just read to you off of their website, like I always do, what their claims are. It says this is an oil-free 24-hour matte foundation, masterfully diffuses the line between makeup and skin. Our true matte formula stays completely colour true while covering imperfections to reveal the all-day shine-free look of naturally flawless skin. Lightweight wear and coverage so undetectable they'll think you were born this way. Your life-proof foundation that controls oil and keeps you looking flawless for a full 24 hours. What else do you need to know? It says Born This Way matte is available in 35 flawless shades, one for every skin tone you would hope. It says feel confident in this oil-free, waterproof, life-proof formula. What the hell is life-proof? Like, is this going to sort out my savings for me and go to work every day for me? Like the entire Born This Way collection, new Born This Way matte is infused with skin-loving hyaluronic acid, alpine rose and coconut water. Now 24 hours, not going to lie you guys, I have not tested this out for 24 hours. I like my sleep, you know. I'm in my late 30s now, I get tired, do you know what I mean? I ain't staying awake 24 hours, but I have tested this for upwards of 12 hours, if you are okay with that. So its main selling point is that it says that it is oil-free, transfer resistant, yes said it, waterproof and oil controlling. Now for those of you that are unaware, because you're new to my channel, firstly thank you for following me, I really appreciate it. Secondly, I have got combination skin, so that means I tend to get oily across my T-zone generally. I've got textured skin, not as bad as it used to be, as I use a derma roller as well as acid exfoliants and other amazing skincare, including Korean skincare as well. However, I do feel it's important to mention that I've got textured skin because sometimes the way that the foundation performs on textured skin can be different to people who've got normal skin. Now in terms of what they've written on their box, their usual pink box, it just says again, oil-free, oil-controlling, waterproof, transfer-resistant, undetectable, super long wear, and then it says that it's infused with coconut water which aids in delicately replenishing skin's moisture levels, alpine rose which helps to empower skin's health and resilience, hyaluronic acid which gives a smoother, more youthful appearance, supposedly. And then they've got a bunch of other claims underneath, but let's get into what my thoughts are of this foundation. First off, just in case you guys want to know, I've got nothing on my skin. I've just done my usual skincare. I've got moisturizer on and I have forgotten to wear SPF. Don't do that you guys. Luckily I'm in a completely blacked out room, but sunscreen is important. But I do have to say that I have worn this over sunscreen and it does not interfere with my sunscreen. I don't find any pilling up happens, which can happen with some of my sunscreens when I apply foundation on top. That does not happen with this, which is great. So I'm going to be using the Morphe M439 Deluxe Buffer Brush. It's just a very dense brush, which I generally tend to prefer to use when it comes to more full coverage kind of foundations such as this one. But whatever your choice is completely up to you. If you want to use a beauty blender, just bear in mind that when you do use a beauty blender, a lot of the product soaks into the sponge and it gives a more sheerer appearance. Why you would go and buy a full coverage foundation in order to have sheerer appearance doesn't make sense to me. Go and buy a sheer foundation or a lightweight foundation. This is not light coverage at all. They don't really state what the coverage itself is. It just says lightweight wear and coverage so undetectable. But personally, I would say that it is definitely a full coverage foundation. I absolutely love the way this covers my skin. I didn't have to apply as much as I normally do, meaning that your skin is able to breathe a little bit better and you've got less product on your face, meaning less build up, making it less obvious when you pile on all the other products after your foundation, which we all do. First off, let's go into this little demo, and so I can show you guys exactly what it looks like on my light to medium skin tone before I let you know what my thoughts are and what my counter claims of what their claims are. So I've just got on here about 1.5 pumps. So this is just half of my face covered, just so that you guys can see how hilarious I look. Just blending it out a little bit. My forehead is darker than the rest of my face. That's just how it is when you're brown and it's the end of summer. Forehead always gets darker. So here you can see the coverage level. Yes, I do look a little bit pale, but this does oxidize just a little bit after a couple of minutes. But this is just so that you guys can see how it looks. The redness on my cheeks is gone. It's almost covered everything. But like I said, I would definitely call this a full coverage foundation, but not like mega full. More on the medium full to full, if that's a type that I just made up for myself. But here you can see that quite a few of you who will not have the same kind of pigmentation problems that I've got, scarring, etc. You will find that your skin is covered a lot more easily than mine is. So I'm just going to do the other side now. As the texture has got a slight liquidy kind of movement to it, it glides very easily across the face. There's not that much blending that needs to be done. It's actually very easy and it blends very evenly as well. There's no more dark in one area or lighter in another area. It just blends really nicely into the skin and it doesn't interfere with any moisturizer or anything underneath. There's no snagging or anything like that. There's no weird pilling and pulling up in any areas. It just goes on really nicely. Okay, so here we have one layer on the face, and you probably won't have to use as much as I have done, like I've said, but in terms of seeing how full coverage this is, you can see my beauty spot. If you look closely, you can see it right there. And if I was to look up close in the mirror, I can see redness around my nose, which I've got because I've got eczema around my nose and I struggle with flare-ups from it, and I've got a flare-up going on at the moment. And I can see that it's not covered the redness, so I will have to go in with a little bit extra in some areas on my face. But already you can see it gives a very nice matte finish, a natural matte finish. So not matte like flat, oh my god, you've got no dimension to your face. It still makes your face look like a face. So what I'm going to do is what I always do is apply a little bit extra to my problem areas to cover them up a bit more, including that side of my nose. As what you'll find with this is it actually does dry down quite quickly. Not as quickly as some other foundations or matte ones, but quickly enough that if you need to get ready quickly in the morning, you don't have to wait for it to settle into your skin. You know, is it still tacky? You know, that sort of thing. It actually does dry quickly to the point where in some cases I would say you don't necessarily have to use powder. If you've got dry skin, you probably don't need to use powder at all. So let's just do this side as well. Covering it up. Covering up them scars. Forehead a little bit more just to be even. Blend it into the neck. Don't forget your neck. And remember, when you are colour matching yourself, you do it to your neck. That's what I was doing. Let me tell you, it weren't easy doing it with a face covering on, and I had to take the face covering off because there was a whole big mess happening with the sales assistant, and she just ended up taking it off for me, to be honest. So it is difficult in this day and age. All right, the problem I'm having right now is that it is refusing to cover my eczema. It's actually kind of dragging off. Can you see up close? If I zoom in, can you see the redness around my nose? Why is this not covering it? I've put almost 3 layers on it, and it's almost as if it just doesn't want to stick to cover the eczema, which is a shame. That's literally a minus point in my mind already. You know, people that have got rosacea and eczema, basically you're stuffed. I'm going to have to apply concealer over it to make it stick properly. And the joke is, because I've got no eczema on that side of my nose, that side is fine. So -1 already. But like I said, it's already pretty much set. You don't really need to set this if you've got dry skin. If you've got combination skin like I have, or you've got oily skin, I would definitely suggest setting it just to give that extra something to set the foundation into your skin so that it doesn't move around throughout the day as the natural oils start to come out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go off camera and finish off the rest of my makeup just so that you can see what it looks like once it's sit and settled onto my skin. I'm just going to be setting it with this Huda Beauty Easy Bake Setting Powder in the shade Blondie, but I'm going to use a very, very light layer of this. It's just so that I've got something to set my face with. This is not the normal powder I tend to use. My one's actually finished, so that's why I'm just using that just for the purposes of this video, to be honest. Okay, so I am back. The rest of my makeup is done. I've attempted to style my hair. I don't know about you guys, but because I've cut my hair to a certain level, no matter how much I try and get it to curl inwards, 2 seconds later it's flicking outwards. It's just doing its own thing, stupid hair. But anyway, so this is what the foundation now looks like with everything set, all my makeup on top. You can see yourself, my skin looks flawless. And if anything, it's got a very naturally flawless kind of finish. It's not that flat 3D matte that you can get from some full coverage kind of foundations. I would definitely say that this veers more towards the medium to full coverage. You would have to layer it up, but I do have to admit to you guys, because I tried to cover this area here with the eczema with like 3 layers, I can feel it. So just bear in mind, don't try to overlayer the foundation, because then you will have that tendency where you can actually feel the foundation. My face feels slightly restricted in this area. Like when I move it, I can feel the foundation, and obviously that's not ideal. I normally don't tend to do that, but it was again for the purposes of the video. I actually really quite like this foundation, that issue aside, which I just managed to use the Born This Way concealer and it covered it up perfectly fine. But it looks lovely, it feels soft, it feels like velvet. However, with one of its claims being that it's non-transferable, so I'm going to have to reduce it by another mark because they have made a claim which is unfortunately untrue. So it says that it masterfully diffuses the line between makeup and skin. In my head, that sounds more like basically it's Born This Way, your skin but better sort of thing. I would have to agree with that claim. I would definitely say that you can't even barely see that I've got foundation on, aside from the fact that I've got, you know, eye makeup and blusher and the lipstick. But if I was to wear it on its own, it would look very naturally matte. Waterproof, it's transferable, therefore it's not going to be waterproof either, so just bear that in mind when you have got a matte kind of foundation. Oil controlling, now I would actually say that I agree with that. After 12 plus hours, I noticed that my skin still looked flawless. It did not start to shine. With some other foundations, what can happen with my skin type and oily skin types is the natural oils start to come out and then we start to get shiny, and that's where we start to get a little bit of separation. Now, I do have to say that I got to about hour 16 and I noticed separation around my nose, but that was kind of almost expected after 16 hours of wear, and it was also in 25-26 degrees weather as well, so it was quite warm. So therefore, after that amount of time, I'm quite happy with how long it held up. We're going into winter now, which means that obviously my skin will be a little less oily. I won't be as hot, meaning it will last even longer than the 16 plus hours that I tried it out for. It's also got, I don't know how to describe the scent. It has got a slight scent to it, but it's not chemically. It's a fairly pleasant kind of scent, but it's not something which is overpowering or anything that you're really going to notice unless you go like I just did. Now, it says that 99% of people said that it blurs away imperfections. Definitely. Can't see any real imperfections on my skin. 96% of people said that it feels weightless on the skin. I would again agree with that. This little area aside where I obviously went overboard, I can't feel anything on my face at all. 93% said that the foundation provided undetectable coverage. I guess so, yeah. I mean, it looks great on the skin. And it said 92% of people said that this foundation does not require touch-ups. Who touches up their foundation these days? I don't touch up my, I don't think I've ever touched up my foundation. I'd rather wash it all off and start again. And this was from a 1-week study of 107 people. Not exactly the hugest amount, but okay. Now, because it contains hyaluronic acid, it's meant to give a smoother, more youthful appearance. So I would definitely say that my skin, considering it's textured, looks fairly smooth. It keeps the skin moisturized as well. Well, it doesn't feel drying or anything like that, which is great. And Alpine Rose is to help empower skin's health and resilience. That's something that you will only notice over time if you use this foundation, only this foundation, and no other foundation. With somebody like me who's a YouTuber, ain't gonna happen, but maybe with you guys. Super long wear foundation, then yeah, I would definitely say it is. So my overall mark out of 10, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. Firstly, I minused it 1 because of the fact that it would not cover my eczema at all and left it red and raw looking, and all it did was cling to the dry patches, which is not great. Considering I've got a little bit of eczema around here as well, it hasn't done that. So maybe it's just more stubborn kind of eczema, I don't know. But for those of you that have got dry skin or severe dry skin, you may want to bear that in mind, that you may want to overly moisturize before you apply something like this. And the other one, them saying that it's non-transferable. Well, it is transferable, I'm afraid, so that's why you're going to get an 8 out of 10. Overall, I do think that this foundation is really good. Do I prefer it to the Born This Way original? I think so, and that's more so because I personally prefer to go for more full coverage, more matte kind of foundations because of the skin type that I have. Sometimes I find with other kinds of foundations my skin starts to look oilier a lot sooner, so I prefer something like this which I don't have to worry about. I've got a very, very busy lifestyle. I live in London as well. I work 40 hours a week. I socialise quite a lot. I also have other extracurricular activities. I'm out and about sometimes for God knows how many hours. I will leave the house first thing in the morning, come back late at night, and I need my foundation to stay like this. And that's exactly what this does. Wearing it for 24 hours, I really wouldn't suggest anybody wear foundation on their face for that long. But in terms of if you are traveling or will be traveling, you probably will like something like this because it will hold up a lot longer than other foundations. So that's it for my review of the brand new Born This Way matte foundation. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, make sure you subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.